Hello boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's video. Today's video is meta discussions. The whole goal of this video is for me to tell you which heroes to avoid and which heroes to abuse. It's going to be a long one, so let's get right into it. I'm going to go through every hero despite the changes. This, my opinion, is based on the changes, the meta, and the previous few changes. So, I have everything written down, so hopefully I'm going to get through them all real quick before the video ends. If you agree with me, let me know down in the comments. If you disagree with me, let me know down in the comments. Tell me why, tell me what you think, and if you think I forgot something, or you think that someone's not an L in this video, but if you disagree, just let me know. Alright, okay, so I'm gonna go through everything. First and foremost, we're gonna start from tanks. Tanks, generally speaking, take a small L because the new Sombra is a tank buster style Sombra, so they get to, they take a small, generally speaking, they take an L. But we're gonna go through them, of course, everyone individually. D.Va, still the best tank in the game. She has no Sombra to worry about, generally speaking, but Sombra is really good against her if the Sombra plays heavy focus style. So D.Va, still the best tank in the game. I don't think really anything is gonna change, though. She just takes just a little bit of L because Sombra is really good. The new Sombra is really good against them. Doom and Ball and Doom take a massive L because the new Sombra literally wipes them off, especially Doomfist. The new Sombra literally just wipes these two off of the map. So Sombra and Doom and Ball, they take a massive L. Unfortunately, surprisingly, JQ didn't get any changes despite the buffs that she got a while ago, but she is really, really great now. I'm seeing a lot of high surge in Doom in Junker Queen, so Junker Queen is pretty good. So I think I would say, in my opinion, she's W, because Zenyatta will be played a lot this season, and Junker Queen is really good against Zenyatta because Trance gets pretty much no value against Junker Queen's ultimate. And Maga gets a buff, but really doesn't change anything. It's just a very minor micro buff that doesn't change a lot. In fact, I would dare say he takes a small L because Ramattra is pretty bad now, so he has one less tank to counter because you really play Maga to counter people. So Maga takes a small L because he doesn't have that one character that he counters played often. So all in all, Maga is still very situational, because the change that he got a while ago, really not the best change when his ability went from 5 to 3 seconds. So I think Maga takes an L, even though he got buffed still, because it doesn't really change much because maybe like when you pressure a squishy. But yeah, Zenyatta, I think out of all supports, okay, we're not going to consider Orisa. Orisa is really, really great, but since Zenyatta is back, she just takes a small L because Zenyatta is really good against her. So I would say from the tanks that she's going to feel a lot. Tanks in generally take an L on that front because Zenyatta is back. But Orisa specifically. But Orisa's still a decent tank. So I would say just another L. Small L for Orisa, even though she's really great. Ram, biggest L of the patch, I would say. Maybe not as big as the Sombra, but he loses a lot of his matchups. I still think that it's a very bad patch for Ramattra. I've seen, even because someone DM'd me and then he was like, have you seen KarQ's video? Yes, I just literally seen it after he told me, and I disagree with KarQ's opinion. I know, I'm nowhere near KarQ, but I really disagree with his point of view, even though I see it, but I just disagreed because my point of view is like, his point of view is like, he's very fast at deleting shields quickly, but most of the time, if you don't want to do that, because how annoying, ask yourself, how annoying is it when you're playing against multiple deployables team comp like Torbjorn, Symmetra, Illari, when you're shooting at things other than people, most of the time it's so annoying, and by the time you're shooting at different things, the enemy team will be landing them damage at you, at abilities at you, when you're spending your time at landing abilities at their deployables that can be either healed up, ignored, or just replaced. So that's why, in my opinion, Ramattra is pretty bad. He's going to be spending most of his main ability, he's going to be spending it on his shooting at things other than people. So that's my point of view when it comes to Ramattra, and he loses a lot of his matchups. And he also said sure, he loses his matchup against Ramattra and Sigma specifically, but he's like, what? Nobody's gonna shoot at Symmetra. Symmetra is really annoying to go against as a tank, and the one answer that you can go directly and just take Symmetra on was Ramattra. Now you can't do that. KarQ, sweetheart, how do you not take this into account? The Ramattra-Symmetra matchup is very huge. How does he said that, oh, it's just nothing or just not a big deal. And when I looked at the comment section, I was like, thank you, somebody agrees with me. Somebody said, of course it's a big matchup. So he loses that as well, because now he cannot influence that during the ult phase specifically. Yeah, Ramattra takes a really, really big L. Sorry, KarQ, I might have to agree with you. I might have to disagree with you on that one. Winston's still really, really, really great, but again, takes a small L because the new Ramattra is actually good against Winston and Zarya. So Zarya and Winston take a small L on that front because, especially Zarya, Winston can just leap away, but Zarya gets really punished really hard. So I would say the new Ram is good against Zarya, so I would say that she takes an L. Now, moving on to DPS, of course, Hog is still, he takes an L because the new Sombra is really good against him, and Zenyatta is back, and Ana is even better than before. We're going to get to that. So, yeah, Hog takes an L. Now, we're moving on to the DPS role. Hit scans, in general, take a W because they have Sombra they don't have to worry about Sombra as much, and she's not a threat to them anymore when they're isolated and stuff like that. And we're gonna be looking mainly specifically about Widowmaker. I feel like she is the biggest winner of this patch next to Ryan and Sigma. Sigma is really good now against Ramattra. I know, like, a lot of people will be like, Ramattra can just walk into the Ram. Into the Sigma. But now, even if you want to do that, if you want to focus his shield, I don't understand how a lot of people that stand by the opinion that he can focus his shield faster. Yeah, but Sigma can just stun you away, and then his entire team are going to land damage on your abilities on you. By the time he comes disengages, you are pretty much dead, or you've taken a lot of damage or abilities that you need to disengage as well. So that's why I stand with my opinion that Ramattra is pretty bad after the nerf, and he loses matchup. So we're going to go back to the Widowmaker. Widowmaker is a big winner. No Sombra, because Sombra now cannot go deep into the backline, deep into the Widowmaker territory to take her out. So Widowmaker is a big winner. If you're a Widow main, this is your season. Widowmaker takes a big L. Because Sombra, used to be one of the low risk, high reward duelers, but not so much anymore. Even though her lethality increases, but her vulnerability increases even more. So most of the time, Sombra is better off playing Cassidy style Sombra. So yeah, she takes an L. Flyers, generally speaking, take an L because hit scans no longer worry about the Sombra, and Bab's huge buff. And of course, let's not forget about the Mercy damage boost buff that she got recently, not this patch, but I think the patch before. So hit scans really good, even better now. Flyers take an L on that front. Sojourn, one of the biggest winners of this patch, really huge, massive buffs, and finally, I feel like Sojourn this season will be seen more often, and that was a really good buff, and I think she needed it because she was not only one of the worst, if not the worst DPS on the entire game, but one of the least played heroes in the entire game. So I think she needed it. And Bastion takes a dub this season because Ryan is back this season, and he's good against the Ryan matchup, and he knows how to influence that. And let's not forget the Mercy damage boost. Also, that the damage boost buff affects him, and it really benefits him. And Juno is pretty, she's played pretty often, so she pairs really well with him. Now we're gonna go to the flankers. Tracer is back as the best flanker in the game, so she takes a W on that front. Genji has less Sombra to worry about, so he takes a W on that front. But I feel like since Zenyatta is back, so the whole Zenyatta Genji matchup kind of gets back now because we're gonna see Zen more often. So I would say, but generally speaking, if you're a Genji main, I feel like this is pretty good news for you. So yeah, and now we're going to Hanzo. Hanzo HP buff. I feel like Hanzo now takes a massive W, and also he can one-shot some of the heroes now. So from the buff that he got recently, not this patch, but I think the patch before. So he takes a pretty good W this season. So. And Hanzo, yeah, like we already said, Hanzo. Now are moving Junkrat, May. They're really solid because we're gonna see a lot of stationary team comps now, and he's really good against it. And honestly, I've seen a lot of Junkrat. Junkrat is actually really, really real across all boards and a lot of maps. So he's doing pretty good. Reaper is very solid. One of the best DPS, in my opinion, in the entire game. Symmetra takes a massive W this season because no Ram. Ram is pretty bad against Symmetra now, so she takes a massive W on that front. Torbjorn, I feel like is going to be also good because now we're going to see more Traces and we're going to see more Genjis. I honestly, I've already played, I think, good enough time to judge on this front. I've seen a lot of, well, not a lot of, I would say, but like the better way to put it is like I've already seen pretty like I've seen Genjis and Traces more often than usual, at least more than last season, and I've seen people actually playing Torbjorn into that, and it's actually pretty good. So now we're gonna see more Torbjorns because it's gonna be more Traces and Genjis this season. So Torbjorn takes a W generally, even though Zenyatta's good against him, but generally speaking, Torb takes a W on that front. And that's mostly from the meta shift. Now we're moving on to the support, and this is where the saucy things begins. Bab changes. Honestly, one of the things that I don't think Bab needed a buff, bro. Bab did not need a buff. Bab is so good right now, and for two reasons. He takes a big W because I'm telling you, this buff will be reverted in the mid-season patch. But he takes a massive buff because his new buff that he just got to his recoil, 30% less recoil, and the second W that he takes is because his rival, the one that makes him the one that they thought made Bab needed a buff, was Juno. Juno kind of overshadowed Baptiste because she does Baptiste's job, but even better. And her ultimate is so good. Nerf that. Okay, no swearing. YouTube doesn't like that. But yeah, so Bab got a big W for two reasons. He got a really nasty buff, and Juno got a nasty nerf. So yeah, but he gets a buff on that front. So yeah, Bab is a W. Ana takes a massive W because less Sombra. So now Ana, most of the time, she doesn't have to use her abilities on herself. So Sombra is literally, it's so good. I'm an Ana player, as you can see in the background. I played a lot of Ana already, and it's so good having to not worry about a Sombra. It's just such a good feeling. So Ana takes a massive W. Brigitte takes a massive W despite the nerfs. She got a minor nerf. I really don't think that will be. I mean, it does. It definitely does. You can definitely feel it over. It's definitely noticeable across the entire board and the entire game. But it's not a big nerf or anything. So it's a very minor power tuning down, but she takes a massive W because Ramattra got worse against her, so big W on that front. Supports take an L because generally speaking, supports take a massive W because there's no Sombra to harass the backline. This is so huge. I can't even express how huge it is. So if you're a support player, this is your season to play. If you're a Mercy player, if you're a Zen player, Zenyatta takes a massive W. Like a lot of supports take a massive W because there's no Sombra to annoy the backline again. So this is really huge for support players. Zenyatta, I feel like out of all supports, Zenyatta is probably the biggest winner because there's no Sombra. Sombra is pretty bad. She cannot go deep into that without her being unpunished. So there's going to be less Sombra this season. So Zenyatta takes a massive W, and I'm actually afraid for him. So he might get nerfed in the mid-season patch because they buffed him really good last season when they increased his damage and they lowered his Discord cooldown because they were like, oh, he was bad, but he was really bad because Sombra was way too good and the meta was not fitting to him, not because he was bad. But now he gets to keep his old buffs and the meta is fitting him because Ryan is back, Bastion is back, and Zenyatta is really good against those kind of team comps. and his direct counter got gutted, so Zenyatta is in an amazing place. So yeah, because Sombra is bad, like I said. Honestly, Illari used to be one of the best supports in the entire game, but since her recent nerfs that she got, I think last season, that was exactly what she needed, and I've been calling for that for a really, really long time. Yeah, so she takes an L. She still takes an L. She's pretty decent, but I feel like the nerfs really definitely tuned her down a bit. But most importantly is Diva. Diva is still meta. So as long as Diva will be meta, her power will be on the lower end, and she'll always keep taking L because Diva's really good against Illari. So yeah, because she eats in her ultimate and stuff like that. Moira still, I think Moira is a winner of this patch. She gets to keep her buff from last season, by the way, because she got the coalescence buff. So I feel like generally speaking, Moira is really solid option. But I just feel like the other supports are just much better. So I think, so Juno, I think the last hero that we will be talking about, I think I covered everything. If I forgot a hero, that means, there's really nothing, they didn't change, or they didn't, nothing really changed this season. Like, for example, I didn't mention KarQ or Lucio. I feel like Lucio's going to be great, and KarQ is going to be great because Ryan is great. All the things that they match up with is really great. So I'm going to end the video with the last hero that it's pretty massive. Juno takes a massive L. The nerf that she actually received was really huge. The range nerf, and if you want to test it, go into the practice range. It's really massive. She doesn't do that much healing now from that range or that damage. Pretty significant nerf, and I feel like that might actually kill the character. Maybe we'll see some mid-season, buff for her. But yeah, that's my opinion. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for stopping by. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree? Do you disagree with me? Please keep it civil in the comments. Let's be respectful. And like the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Share with your friends if you learn a thing or two. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.